Hello, good afternoon, targeted individual. My name is Grace Udoh-Williams. I'm a targeted individual here in UK, and I will still need to apologize for my video that is not very sharp. Just don't have the knowledge to make it better, and there's nobody to help me. So please bear with me until such a time I will be able to make it better. In today's program, I will be updating you on what's happening recently in terms of my targeting and gun stalking, and also in terms, just a brief touch on what's happening in terms of psychiatric assessment that they are trying desperately to get me to be treated just to cover up the crime that they are doing to me. Um, to start with, um, I have I'm trying to make a complaint, a formal complaint about the treatment I've received from the mental health trust that I was referred to, which at the time I didn't know much about this targeting program, what it entails. So I went innocently to be evaluated just because I wanted so much to keep my job, and I wanted to a kind of not have anything tie up to me. I just wanted a clean sheet, and just to show that it wasn't there's nothing wrong with me, that it was what I was experiencing in terms of the gang stalking. But unfortunately, it got to a point that including my health, occupational health, was actually putting a lot of pressure for me to go and start treatment for illness that I haven't got, and the fact that the assessment that they did was is something that you expect. Even as a student nurse, I don't think I would have done that sort of assessment, because it was really below par. You're not questioning, no question asked. It's just listening to what I have to say, then you just concluded. And my point of view is that if you think I've got psychosis, how do you know I'm not being followed if you haven't followed the track and just tried to find out what was going on? How do you know? It was just their opinion. And my understanding of psychiatric is not based on scientific fact. Is based on opinion, what they think it is, but not based on facts, and they don't care to find out. So I've read literature extensively, and it has come to the same conclusion. Anybody complaining that they're being followed, they are immediately diagnosed as having psychosis or delusional by psychiatric that have been. Some of them might be innocent based on their training, but most of them are people that they have been told what to say, and they do kind of a cover up for what's going on, because once you're sectioned, nobody wants to believe you. Everything is put into that you have mental health problem, which is not the case. In my case, it's not only the fact that my body function was already depreciating due to the electromagnetic wave, which at the time I didn't know what was going on. It was probably the one that I couldn't know. It wasn't burning on my skin, but I knew that immediately my kidney function went start going low. And even my own GP didn't, even after having lots of blood tests, I wasn't told that to ask what was happening with my kidney function, because that would have it kind of put me on alert to find out what was going on. In my nurse, I know what it is when your kidney function that's that depreciating. I didn't have anything to kind of indicate that I had kidney problems, apart from noticing that my kidney function, then all my bloods became abnormal, then my ESR became elevated, all my globins became elevated on the border of me having cancer, and then also my apart from my kidney function, my blood, and then when I did my hair analysis, it shows that I was having heavy metal in my body, which at the time I didn't know, and I knew definitely after experiencing all this burning sensation and the cuts, I knew something was environmental thing was happening to me, and I had to check. And also, I actually went to an independent neurologist, which was very funny. I won't call the name. I'm not going to mention anything. But as a private patient, I was surprised by our utterance, by the utterances of what I heard. The neurologist confirmed that I had frequency, electromagnetic frequency, and all because I have heavy metal in my body. Some are very rare heavy metals that is, it couldn't just happen in my home, and also because I wear wig and I try, and that's even despite the fact that as soon as I knew what was going on, I tried to detox myself. This was despite the heavy detox that I was doing. So thank God, if I hadn't had a clue, or if I hadn't checked or tried to educate myself to what was happening, probably I won't be here sitting down. So all of this was happening, and then still the psychiatrist said to me that I was having a psychosis without seeing. And you'd have thought when you go to see a psychiatrist that you put your health, you put your care into their hands, but they have used the authority, they have used the privilege, they have used the knowledge that they have to weaponize it in terms of misdiagnosing you or falsely diagnosing you with mental health that you haven't got in the form, so that they can treat you and then claim that you have mental health problem instead of having checked the whole blood. They didn't. None of the doctors actually checked my blood to find out what was causing my kidney function to start to reduce, because it was even reducing. I wasn't told by my GP that it was reducing. It's only when I did a repeated blood that I found out that. Then I questioned it, and they said to me, "Oh, I was told that, oh, it's even better than last month, but last month it was like, in the 70s. I know 70s is still okay-ish, but then if it's reducing from 90 to 70s, then you should know that if care is not taking it, will have dropped more." And nobody told me, or just to alert me to find out what was going on, if I wasn't drinking enough, if I was dehydrated, or what was going on, to try to find out why my kidney functions were depreciating when it wasn't. So if I didn't find that out, and even when I went to see a neurologist in the NHS, they asked for an urgent blood. It wasn't done. It wasn't done in the next 2 weeks. It wasn't done until after a month. Or when I went there for different complaints, that I suddenly realized that they have actually phoned my surgery to have my blood repeated. Well, nobody repeated the blood. Nothing was done until when I asked my GP, and she started apologizing. But then I was trying to find out what was going on. That this wasn't followed up. So if I didn't follow it up myself, if I didn't have new symptoms for me to go and complain, I will sit there not knowing what was going on, and probably I won't be sitting here just not having an idea what was going on. So that was it. In terms of the targeting, the week before, on the 30th, 31st of this month, that was about 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks ago. I went out because I don't sleep that good at night. A lot of waking up, and what I'm covering with, it seems this thing comes through. It comes through. They've punched holes into everything that I have to cover, kind of shielding myself. And I didn't want, because they have involved the psychiatrists. I didn't want to start, covering the whole house, because to them that will show sign of mental health, even though this is not mental health. And I do understand, some of them, I'm sure they should understand about electromagnetic wave, that's what you use, is part of it. You shield yourself, but they refuse to take that notice. Even they refuse to acknowledge that. So they will, as you might have also heard, when we went on the BBC protest, I heard a lady saying that because they came into our house, and then when they saw the tin foil she was using that was it. They took her straight into hospital, start medicating her without asking any question, without trying to understand why she was using that to shield, or try to get themselves educated to understand. And that's what you use in shielding, although it's ineffective. But I think it takes some of the electromagnetic wave you're getting, or the direct energy wave, when you take some of the edge off. So I had to take everything that I had, away, and just take it away, because I knew they were going to use that as a stick to beat me with. And once they get you in, then it probably will be very hard, or probably the way they have been very vocal. So they were trying desperately to have something on to get me, and to get me started medicated. It seems it was a vendetta for this man to start harassing me, coming to my home unannounced, just to try to get on to it, to make sure that I'm in the hospital being medicated. Having said that, I went on a shopping out. I left on very kind of mid-afternoon, and I went to go and get went to places and came back, and I did a bit of shopping. By the time I got to my place, it was getting dark, although it was around after 7 or so. I got off the bus. I had the kind of heavy things I bought in the shop, so I had shopping bags on both sides of the hand. And my house is not. It's in a block of terrace house, or you could call it maisonette. And by the far side of it, near the fire station, there are stairs. There are also stairs in the middle of the terrace house, and also at the other side, the other end of it. Usually, I don't go by the fire station because it's more. That's where you have the dustbin. Sometimes people, I've not seen anybody, but sometimes I've seen like people's bags, or that people are just sleeping rough, staying there. So I don't like going there. The middle one is a little bit hidden. You go left, then you go right, then it kind of zigzag stairs. So I don't go. Then I go on the far right. That is um that's where I go take shopping. Sometimes I go on the ramp just to get to my place. And on coming after crossing the lights, and it's also in a kind of a T junction where the flats are, so you can move from one end to straight into the other T junction. So as I crossed the light by the zebra crossing, and I was approaching my home, I could see a car that was parked there. Some of the cars that are here, they are not owned, because most of the houses in my parts where I live are council houses. Some of them are bought, and some of them are flats, and some of them, most of us, some people have cars, but not all. But the number of cars on my road is always a lot of cars, and I know it's not due to the residents, it's people that have come in terms of the gang stalking. They've got centers around here. There are a lot of people involved in my own gang stalking and harassment. There's a lot of people involved in it, both black and whites. But the most ones around here, um, my handler, which I think the head handler, the man that I've been seeing, is a middle-aged man, probably in his 60s, late 60s, going to 70s. He's the one that I've actually seen on the train that followed me to my workplace when I used to work in Hounslow. That's how I knew him very well. And I've seen him on the way back from school. And sometimes, although he used to, I don't think he lives locally, but I think he rented a house there. And at that house, I think probably he moved because a few weeks ago, I actually saw two black women with rucksack going into the house, along the just not too far from where I live. So it seems to have moved around within the vicinity. They've got a lot of places that they've developed, and I believe there's also maybe the local authority. It's not all. I think some elements of it, maybe like the road sweepers and the rest of it. So they've made it kind of where I live a fortress. And I believe, like one of the YouTubers said, that we are the golden egg. So I seem to be generating income for everybody. So everybody is really fixated on targeting me and targeting, because I mean that's where the money comes from with all the lies that they have lied. So as I was coming across the road with my shopping, and I was approaching my home, I have not gone too far, just very close opposite the fire station. As I approached, I could see a car parked on the far side, not the stairs near the fire station, not the middle stairs, on the far side that I normally would use because it's the most lit. Well, it's not that lit, but it's the most where you can be seen visible, and the stairs are not so many. So I saw a car that was unusual parked there, and I saw just parked close to the stairs, and I also saw that within that car, although it was dark, but I could see the frame of people that were in there. I don't know if there were four, but surely I could see there was about two people in front, and the driver of the car was wearing this Muslim thing that was covering their eyes. And we are talking about 7 o'clock, about maybe to 8, about to 8 o'clock at night in the car. And that is the frame I saw. And it looked so suspicious to me. I saw the frame, and he was the one driving the car. It wasn't on the seat. It wasn't the seater. No, I think it was the one on the next to the it wasn't the driver. It was next to the driver, but it looked like it didn't look like a woman, because a woman has got different frame from a man. It looks a tall athlete. Maybe it was a man. I don't know. I couldn't see the face, but I knew certainly there was somebody in the front, not the driver, or somebody in the front of the car that was wearing this black thing, just with the two eyes coming. And as soon as I was approaching, they kind of shone the what they normally let me know that I'm being targeted or I'm being followed. This silver light, it was on it was on, but then as soon as I was approaching it, it was just shone on my face, and I just looked, and as soon as I looked, they got my attention and they just paid off. I could not get the number of the car. It started with KM, but I couldn't get it. So I tried to retrace. I actually was so mad in terms. I just turned back as soon as it zoomed past me, and I just tried to track to see where they were going. And on the other side, because I live the road from my place is a T junction by the end of the road that you can move into the other side of the road, and it's a crossroad. This road coming this way, and that coming that way. So there is a junction there. So it just moved from this to the next opposite junction, where it is called Devonshire Drive or so. And I think within the Devonshire Drive, then the road split into two, one going the right, one going on the left. I think they split into the left. It could be the right, but I think they split so fast. As soon as I noticed that something unusual was happening, they just zoom, and I could not quickly get the number, but it seems to start with KM, and then they just paid across the road into one of the sub roads there. And I just thought I had too much shopping to follow to try to not to track to try to. All I was after was to try to get the number of the car. And I know in the past, about a few weeks earlier, my husband, I don't live with him, he's an older man, I don't live with him anyway. Differences of opinion, but we're best friends, looking after the grandchild and the kids when we have things to say to the kids. He did say to me, if you know on my earlier video, I did say to you about this black man looking like that they used, whom I believe is the same person that has been coming to enter my house, because he looks so much like a relative. So I noticed that a lot of stuff I've been missing each week, or each time when I look around, I notice that things are missing in my home. I've noticed that I bought some ice cream maker, which I've never used to do ice cream, to teach myself to do ice cream, and also to do with my grandchild to have fun. And these are the memories that children have. And I've checked the whole house recently. I knew it was missing, but then I calm myself down and check everywhere. I cannot find those things. And I believe I bought some bread maker, the same thing. I can't find all those things. So it seems when this man come into my home, I don't know for what reason, they haven't got permission to come into my home, but this is what they do. The gang stalking, they go into your home. They are not meant to, my knowledge of it is that they're not meant to take things. They're meant to move things around, kind of psychological warfare. When you come in, your things have been moved around, then that make you scared that somebody is coming into your home, or then make you alert you that somebody is being here, just to give you signs that somebody's been here. One of the YouTuber Sean Games mentioned about somebody coming and defecating on his bed. So it's just to make you understand we've been here and there's nothing you can do about it. But they're not giving permission to come into your home, and that's what they do illegally. So I noticed that things that I've bought, and actually I'm a nurse and I've never had anything given to me. Everything that I've worked, I have worked with sweat and blood, doing long shift, night shift to be able to buy. And I buy anything that I don't buy expensive things. I try to buy things on budget. I try to buy things that I can afford. I don't go over the board. If I'm gonna buy things, usually I will wait until sale time that I can afford with my nursing wage. And a lot of people are depending on my money, or we're depending on my money. I'm not just talking about here. I'm talking about at home. When my parents died, there was nothing left, so I have to share my wage with my sisters and their children and everything. So I have to live on budget. I'm not praising myself. A lot of people at home do the same thing, because as a first child at home, in my culture, you look after the rest, and that's the culture. That's the way I was brought up. So my wage is not something that is for me, it's for us. So I try to buy things I can afford. I wait until I can afford those things. So anything that is here is not something that I have to wait, I have to budget, I have to think twice before I buy. And this guy that they've employed has come into my home and just emptied my home of what I have bought. And I've done long shift, I've done overshift. There were times I was working. I've worked complete 2 weeks non-stop to be able to buy if I needed something, if I needed to pay for something, so that I don't owe. I go on the long shift, I go and ask God for strength to be able to do those things and look after the responsibility He's given me. So this man has come into my home with the direction of MI5 and just help themselves to whatever they can, because they can, not because of what I've done. So they have taken. Each time I'm finding out that things have been going missing in my home. And also, I have checked my home looking for my marriage certificate. I have not seen it. I have checked my home to see my birth certificate. I have not seen it. So I don't know. It's not about misplacement. I've looked at everywhere possible that I could have misplaced it. It's not there. It's not a big place. It's a 3-bedroom place, but 2-bedroom place. Recently now, I only live in one space. My son was living in the other. They've moved out. Or my grandchild lives. So the space I live is not too much. So I've checked there to try to find out about my marriage certificate, about my birth certificate. It's not there. So somebody has have the audacity to come into my home and fiddle through my things and pick up and choose. So I don't know what they do. Anyway, having said that, I can say this with authority. Nigerians haven't had good news in the press, especially those ones that have been going about scamming people. So I don't know if it's one of these scams that they're going to use my birth certificate or use my marriage certificate to try to impersonate. I don't know. And this man that has just come and they've stayed away. The thing that gave them up was that they weren't stationary. As soon as the silver light is being shown quite high, before I used to actually carry uh, sunshade at night because sometimes they will stay stationary. Packed, a car is packed there and just shine this light that you can't see. You have to put something on my eyes to be able to walk to my home. Or sometimes I will just stand there. If they're speeding on, I'll just back them until they go. But sometimes they're just stationary. As I'm walking towards the car, they're just standing there with all the full beam. And I also research is actually it's one of the tactics they use to intimidate you, to show you that you're being followed and that they're watching you. So now that I know what's going on, I don't over worry over it. As soon as I see it, I try to mediate it. I find something to put in my eyes or just stand there. If they're moving, catch back them up until they move. Then I start going to where I'm going. So this man wearing a Muslim outfit with his eyes, or man or woman, I don't know. But what I saw did not look like a frame of a woman. It looked more like an athlete man. So I don't know if it's the same black man that has been coming into my home. I don't know what they were meant to do. I don't know if they were meant to instigate problems there, because even at the stairs there's no light. It's dark, so it's only when you get into the pavement that there is light. But by the time I maneuver my shopping onto the pavement towards my home, I could see those cones that they put on the streets. The cone that they put on the streets, if there's a car breakdown, was on the pavement area towards my home. After maneuvering the stairs as we were going, so it was shocking to me because number one, you only get that maybe when the pavement is uneven or something. So I knew within myself, or I thought within myself, maybe they were trying to stage something because there's still all these stairs is not lit. Maybe somebody was standing there, they knew I was coming. I don't know for what reason that cone was there. Is the cone that you use on high streets where there's even stair on even pavement, or when there's a car breakage just to warn people. But there it was there just on my way, just on the after maneuvering the stairs on the pavement towards our home. So I don't know. I think it was taken a few days later, and my husband, when he came in, I did explain, he also saw it, and anybody that would have passed during these 2 days would have found it there. So it was bizarre that that was there, because it wasn't on the road. It was just on the way to 3 doors to where I was where I live, that this cone was found. So I don't know if they're going. So in my opinion, the targeting people are so obsessed in trying to set up somebody at home, in my home, is because of the lies they have lied. So they try, in my own opinion, they're trying to stage something to try to confirm that what they were saying is true, whereas they know and their soul knows that they're lying. So they have used this man or woman with this eye clothes that they wear from the black clothes that they wear from their head to their toe, only their eyes showing, to come and impersonate. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know what setup they were trying to set up, maybe to injure me or injure somebody, then try to make it as if I did it or somebody in my home did it. I don't know. I still don't understand. I don't understand what that means. I don't understand why they have done that. But when I was approaching, they had sped away. But after shining the light into my eye, maybe I came in just before they started the setup. I don't know, but they sped away. And the car was a bigger car. I don't know if it was a Mercedes, but it was a car starting with KM. I couldn't get the rest of the numbers, and they just sped away. And having said that, like I said, I have lost a lot of stuff. I've lost each time. There's another pair of shoe taken. So it's about 4 pairs of shoe that I've kind of noticed now. Maybe when I look, there are more shoes taken or things taken that have gone missing. That is what it is now. Then again, this Sunday I didn't go to church. The Sunday before last, I was coming back from church. I branch at the shopping area there, do some shopping sometimes when on my way home from church for the little girl. So I was trying to get something for school and the rest of it. Um, we branch at the shopping area at Lewisham, and as I was bending, I had a lot of shopping. As I was bending down to adjust my shopping bags that I left, I put it on a chair and tried to adjust it to be able to carry what was left. And I could see a man just hovering behind me. And I turned back. When I turned back, I saw this young Chinese. It's not that he probably could be in his 20s or maybe I don't know. He's probably in his 20s or early 30s, wearing a hood just on my back, just very close to me. And I turned around. By the time I turned around, he just quickly turned and walk away. And as he walked away, I stood there and I was so shaken because it was so close by me. I just put my shopping on the chair where you could sit down in the shopping center. It was so heavy. So I bought a few things. So I just put it on the chair, trying to adjust the shopping so that I could carry it more appropriately. Then when I was putting that, I could just turn around and I could see somebody's leg behind me. And I turned around quickly. When I turned around, this man was just breathing on my back. And he was not going anywhere. He was wearing a hood. He was wearing like a sport wear top to bottom, and then put a hood in a shopping center. And I thought, people covering their faces was, was not allowed in shopping center. But he was wearing a red track suit. Up, and then he was, I think, wearing a jumper or something on top of it. Then the red track suit, the cover, he put it over his head in the shopping center. It was just on my back. So I just turned around and he just moved very quickly and walked away from me. And then went and stood a little bit far. So I tried to walk to not retrace my back, but just try to get a glimpse of him. Then he turned around, then he seems to walk away. I think I have seen a face like that in the other day I was going shopping, but without the hood. It looks more like a Chinese, like an Oriental man. I won't call Chinese because it's not only Chinese that look like him. So it looks more like an Oriental man. But in this one, compared to the ones I've seen before, he was much younger person. So I don't know. He seems to have crop hair. So, but he's also got facial hair. So which is very unusual. Which he kind of design, kind of a design having something like that and like that something. But he is more of a younger person than the ones I've seen in terms of looking like military people following me, gang stalking me around Lewisham and around Greenwich where I live. So I just thought I'd share this with you. I don't know if you're having similar experience. And in terms of the targeting at home, in terms of the psychiatrist, I'm still waiting for them. I've just received I don't know, mental health social worker do contact people on Saturday. One has just contacted me on Saturday morning around 9 o'clock because I thought usually they work Monday to Friday, then only maybe emergency situation that somebody probably holding the blade will come out and will operate on weekends. So I didn't know that they operated on weekend. This man decided to email me on that Saturday around after 9 o'clock to say that I was complaining of having concerns with the mental health. And if I have not made a formal complaint, but I've phoned an advocator that deals with NHS complaint about the mental health people that I've seen, and I was not expecting a social worker, mental health social worker, to phone me at all because I don't think he's the right person for me to talk to. So I was surprised that I've not made a formal complaint, but I've just given a consent for the advocator to contact them. I was not expecting a social worker, mental health social worker, to contact me because I have nothing to do with them. I was expecting maybe somebody from PALS, NHS PALS in the hospital to contact me because the people that I spoke to would have spoken to PALS people. But I didn't expect a social worker to contact me on a Saturday it wasn't something. It's that ongoing issue. It's not something that is emergency. So that leaves a food for thought. I don't know what's going on. As soon as I find out what's going on, I'll let you know, because he's saying I could come and see him or they could come and see me. The last thing I want is somebody turning in my home. And again, if you have not had a good care, if you have not if somebody has lied and slander and continue to lie, you don't trust them. And having said that, I was listening to one of these programs on BBC. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday, this week anyway. It was today. It was either yesterday or they do this program in the morning about it's a kind of a watchdog program where people are being caught red-handed. It showed in America how this psychiatrist has been misdiagnosing thousands of people and medicating people that shouldn't be on medication. It could be yesterday or day before yesterday. As soon as I find the name of the program, guys, I'll let you know. So it just brings to fore what the capability of what psychiatrists can do. The branch of medicine, I'm sure, probably works for some people, but again, when there is no evidence to show that what you're doing is effective, and then people are just misusing the authority that is being given to them, when it just goes to show the man was stuck up in jail for 12 years, and within that time he has medicated a lot of people that shouldn't be on medication, and God knows the effect of this medication on these people, because number one, they're in alliance with the pharmaceutical company, and these medications don't cure anything. Once you have stopped the medication, your symptom comes back. So I think the College of Psychiatrists, they need to look into this, because it's becoming innocent people being labeled and diagnosed as mentally unwell and treated for medications or illness that they don't have. If it's in normal medicine, then those people will get into serious trouble. I know this man got into trouble. But after he has done so much damage, I'm sure people knew what he was doing. Nobody blew the whistle. And when they did, probably the College of, that was in America. I haven't said that it's not in this country. That haven't done anything to mediate the problem for innocent people. So this is going on. I think they need to start opening their eyes and seeing and hearing the complaints of people that are making these complaints now, because people are indirectly being sectioned, falsely being sectioned, falsely being medicated. Sean Gibbs, targeted individual, said, related his experience of, he was walking his dog where police just came in, and just took him into the car and landed him in hospital, and said they were told that he's insane, and then they just start medicating him, and it took him a few days after the medication for him to come around to know what was going on. And having said that, they didn't inform his family that he was in the hospital, so the family was thinking he was dead somewhere, and that nobody knowing. So you could also see how there's a profound abuse of power, using kind of your certificate or your position as a physician to weaponize it in terms of condemning people or labeling people as mentally unstable and medicating people that shouldn't be medicated. I think in this country, the Royal College of Nursing should open their eyes and see what's going on, because people now are speaking up, and it will be in no long time that people they are going to be in trouble for not regulating, for not properly regulating their doctors. And having said that, in terms of psychiatry, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but it's a branch of medicine that I can never get my head through. It's based on opinion. Your opinion, once two people collaborated their opinion, that was it, that was diagnosis, without anyone having to check if these people are saying the truth, without anyone. Like in my own case, I was told that I've got psychosis. My husband, that is 86-year-old this year, has got psychosis too, but we don't live together. It's not something that should be contagious. So got psychosis because I was complaining of gang stalking, and they haven't. They are not living with me. They even the evidence that I presented in front of them, they totally ignore and said it was psychosis, and that was it, and then collaborated and said it. By the time they wrote their write-up, I went to see them. There is no questioning. There was no questioning, especially the main word that I keep turning up in my. There was no questioning to find out exactly what's going on. or to do any more tests to see if this organic or was this environmental. If you're doing holistic assessment, you need to look at a broader picture. It's not narrow-minded. You need to look at this person as a human entity. Is it environmental? Is it within the body? Is it something that they did not? None of the doctors took time, and they are called doctors, but really they should give them a different name. They shouldn't be called doctors, because as a doctor you have evidence, and you have evidence of what's going on. You, as a nurse, for me to say anything, I would have taken blood, I would have done a physical assessment, I would have touched, I would have felt, I would have sent you for scan, I would have to confirm or to dispute what I've just seen or what I've just felt. But in this capacity, there is nothing like that. It's based on, oh, I think it's this. Well, there is nothing to show. I just think. But then there is no going back to see, is this person telling the truth, or is there something going on that we are not aware of? So it seems to me, by the time I got to this, all in the name, I was trying to keep my job because I love my job, and I think I was making an impact in my patients. I was passionate about my job. I went to get more education in order to impact, to make life better for my group of clients that I was looking after. But they had used their own position because they are meant to be physician, and once you're diagnosed, that's it. It's written on your medical notes. So they have used their position to say, oh, you've got psychosis. With that, how do they know that I'm not being gang stalked? How can you sleep in your bed in your office and say, oh, you're not being gang stalked? And it's again like the letter I wrote. From the hints I had, it was hinted that I use words like silent Holocaust. It is a silent Holocaust. It is a crime. People have used a lot of words determining that silent Holocaust. People, and they are not mad people. It's not a mad word. It's not something that is not being used. Books have been written about silent Holocaust. I have used that. Other TIs have used that. It has been used as part of the in leaflets to say this is silent Holocaust, and I've used that in this man's mind because I've used silent Holocaust, and because I've used that my neighbor, they are not going to use birds to gang stalk me. They're going to use neighbor, and it's used through slandering. They'll come to the vicinity to where you live, tell people lies that you're a dangerous person. In my own way, in my own situation, what they've been going about telling people, and that came into my WhatsApp. They hacked into my WhatsApp and sent a picture of a Muslim woman with her face covered. So that is what the theme I'm beginning to see. That is how I got. So, oh, is that what they think I am? But I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a radicalized Christian. So how can I harm someone wearing a hood in my eye, wearing something with my two eyes? I've never worn something in my two eyes. I wear scarf. The only time I wear scarf is when I'm going to church, because I have to humble myself. That is the way I was brought up. My father was a priest, a pastor in the church. You dare not go to church without covering your head. And the nuns cover their head when they go to church. That is why I cover my head when I go to church. As soon as I come off, I take it off. Or sometimes if I'm coming, if I have two luggages, I don't take it off until I go home. So that is the reason I cover my head. So it's something that I was born into. It's just, you'll never find my mom not cover her head. The head is sacred according to our beliefs. So you have to cover your head and you humble yourself when you go into church. And that's what I do. And this person has been, they sent this Muslim woman's face into my WhatsApp and said, Saudi jihadist women, Saudi Arabian jihadist women have been maltreating. That note, Ethiopian women. I don't know whether I have not been to Saudi Arabia in my life. I'm not saying people there are horrible, but it's not where I want to go. I don't have the intention. I don't have the urge to go, And I've not been to Ethiopia. I would love to go to Ethiopia. It's where the first Christian church was established, in Africa before even the white man came. But it's not an urgency. If I can't go, it's just to see, and there's a belief that the Ark of the Covenants was taken into Ethiopia. So I don't know if it's true, but people are not allowed to see. But, so for somebody to take that picture and put in there. So this is the team I begin to see. And this person coming there with the light shone on my face. And that was not this Sunday, not this week. That's just gone the other week before, late October. We are now in November, probably the last day or second to the last day, and shot in my face. And a black a person with a hood on the face, just with the two eyes coming out, that was the driver or was the next person sitting to the driver is still beyond me. And when I came home towards my home, there was a standing off a cone that you usually use if there's a road work or something like that, just to alert drivers or passerby that is there, maybe the ground is uneven, the floor is uneven, or roadblock there. That was put in our, not my doorway, but on the way to home, very close, and it was taken maybe not the next day, 2 days later. So there was a reason why that was put there. I don't know if it was to stage a crime, to continue to lie to people that I was a threat, or it was um, maybe to use to commit a crime on me. Either way, it was spooky. And I did text my relative to say, this is my experience that night, because it was just bizarre. That hour of the day, it was really dark, because winter is coming, so it gets so dark. So it was getting dark, and I had lots of shopping. I couldn't get the car number, but it seems to start with KM. So I don't know what it entails, and that's what I said I'll bring. So, and again, last Sunday, not this Sunday, I didn't go to church this Sunday. The Sunday before the last, I saw this Chinese, or not Chinese, Oriental-looking man. He was a younger man. I know Oriental. Some of Orientals have been following me, but they look more like military people, older people. But this man was so close for comfort. He was wearing a hood at Lewisham Shopping Center. I don't think people are allowed to wear hood. In my opinion, I think they should actually ban all facial, anything covering the face, so that people's face can be seen, especially in shopping center. That's my belief. It might not mean anything. I don't mean to offend anybody, any religion, but I believe in the shopping center, people's face should be seen so that they could see them on camera. He was wearing a kind of a sweat. A sports suit, a red sports suit with stripe on it, and covering his head. So he was wearing a hood in the shopping center, and he was very close to me for comfort. By the time I turned around, he just turned around and just walked back. He did not go forward. It was on my back. As soon as I just felt as if somebody was on my back. I just turned to my right, and I could just see his face fling, and it just, before I knew it, was gone back to where it was coming from. So that really left me. I just thought, what is going on? That it has to come so close. But then he didn't walk, like keep going like somebody that was just a passerby. He returned to where he was going. Then he hung around at the far end, and I tried to catch a glimpse of him, but I did catch his face. And once I catch his face, I memorized the face in my head. So I've seen him after that, but without a hood, in Lewisham Shopping Center. So I don't know what that means, but I know that the MFI, they're fixated on me. I seem to be somebody bringing money for them, in terms of lots of when I go into central London, I'm being followed by helicopter. It's not just the following, it's the helicopter hovering around my head. I just make people very excitable, because they're paid. All these lies, their pay is gonna come by following me. I've seen people, most of those ones that they, especially the black ones, I don't think they're well trained, or maybe they're trained to act that way. So that's I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of them. These days I just try to ignore, but I acknowledge that I see them, because sometimes I just stand and stare at them just to make them know that I'm not afraid of them. And those ones that they do, they take it seriously. They stand in front of you. The way they will do it is just, sometimes if you have a glimpse on their phone, there's always a map, or where they try to track the bus where it's going. And sometimes as soon as they get in there, they have to check on the post, on the maybe bus stop post, to be able to indicate where exactly I am, or where they are, then alert the other ones, where exactly I am. And so they will wait and let me get on the bus. Then you see them start typing, email, just put it in it to alert people, the bus I have gone to, where I'm heading to. So I have seen all of those. It's not hidden. I don't know, maybe this is meant to make me go off my shit. It's not having that effect at all. It's not having that effect on me. It's not going to have that effect on me. I just feel sorry for them, because I know they're being paid, but they've been lied to, but they will know. And because they've been lied to, they are being controlled to, and they have used money. as a source of greed. And they say money is the root of all evil. So a lot of them is there for them is a way for them to earn easy money, pocket money at my own disposal. But I'm not offended. I know they've been lied to, but again, some of them know exactly what they're doing. So if they know what they're doing, I leave their judgment to God. I'm not, it's not for me to, he's the one that fight the battle of the helpless, the needless, the fatherless, the motherless, the people that can't fight is the one that I can't fight all of them. Sometimes I say gang stalker for them to know that I know a gang stalker. Sometimes for some of them you can see the embarrassment on their faces. Sometimes they say gang stalker and I just walk away. And sometimes I don't say anything. I just stand and stare at them, and that's what I do. In terms of the electromagnetic, it is ongoing. This morning, I don't want to use the meter. My daughter begged me. I haven't said that. They have social services have got in touch with my daughter, and the hints I'm having, they have not contacted me again. I'm thinking they are writing their write-up. The hint I'm having is that, the meter that I use to measure electromagnetic wave is being used by people that have got mental health problems. This is a new one for me. I don't know if anybody having mental health problem using acoustic meter to measure the electromagnetic wave. Well, I don't know. I didn't know it was made for people that have got mental health problem. I never knew until this one. So this is new for me. So that is the conclusion they have come up with, and that should be tested in court to see if the meter was made for people that have got mental health problem to measure. And why am I having electromagnetic frequency in my body? Why am I having? I believe I've got implants in my body, so why am I having electromagnetic frequency in my body? And why am I being bombarded with nanoparticles and nano dust all the time? That most times you can actually see it on my clothes. You see the dust has settled on my clothes, and lots of it. So some of the clothes I can't wash them away. I just leave them. I don't want to wear them because it's just too much dust. And while they pouring whatever they're pouring into my into what I use in shielding myself, I think we should get somebody to analyze, so to get to the bottom of it. Maybe mental health comes from those. And having said that, I think my occupational health, he has also he's involved himself in the fact that I had to leave my job because I don't think towards the end, this man was putting pressure on me to go and have treatment without nobody pausing to try to see if this is true. And the psychiatric telling people lies, weaponizing his position and power just to make sure that the truth will not come out. The truth is coming out. There's nothing you can do. They've overdone it now that a lot of people are prepared, even if they're going to suffer, to speak up, to alert the authority, to alert people that this is ongoing. And this is not something, it's not something that is done over a week or 2 weeks, or if you have done anything for punishment, it's something that is done a sustained time, for a sustained, some of them have rated years of going through this. Is just to slowly kill the body, and then they're watching you die. And then when you die, for them it's a goal, and that is the goal for them. I don't know that in this life that a human being can degrade himself, him or herself, to that level of wickedness. So we as a Christian nation, this country took Christianity to almost all parts of the world that allowed itself to degrade itself, because even when other countries are doing it, Britain is being seen as a human rights country. But if people now start to realize actually what we do in their country is not far from what Britain is doing, Britain will lose respect. So they need to start getting a grip and dealing with this. And I'm begging, I continue to beg United Nations, human rights authorities to rise up and try to investigate. A lot of people are dying. A lot of people are being put on this program to be used as a military research. Your body is constantly being barraged. The object is to send you, number one, to mental home, then to discredit you. It's not that when you go into mental home that the attack stops. No, it continues while you're there, probably in a different form, but it continues to people to jot down when your body disintegrates. Then secondly is to, from what I've read, Apart from that, is to slowly cause you to have, apart from mental degradation, to for your body to disintegrate in terms of causing stroke, in causing cancer, because all these things that they are pouring into your body, interferes with the DNA of the body, makes it mutate it, and you start developing tumor, and then they watch you until you die, and then they are getting paid. And there are so many companies that have formed this thing. It's a way for them to earn money. And the people flying the helicopter, a helicopter is very expensive to fly, in terms of the fuel, in terms of, my husband said to me, he went to see a friend of his, and he waited, for some reason, there was a delay for him to get in. The helicopter was hovering around. He said, I've been in this house helicopter going forward and backward, and each time they pass this house, all I feel is stinging sensation. You could hear this thing dropping on the tinfoil on my head. And they're using this in terms of for the environment. We are talking about the environmental impacts of all this radiation, and then they are happy to be pouring radiation into my home while they're earning money. So I don't know which more wickedness, is worse than this, or genocide that happened in Rwanda. I don't think what is happening here is far from it. It's still the same thing. At the end of the day, the object is to destroy another human being, whatever way. And this way is even more sinister, because the way they're doing it, nobody, if you can't challenge it because you can't see it, but you can feel it. The other one, people can rise up and challenge it. Those ones using cutlass, using gun, people rise up, they can see it with their eyes what's going on. But in this case, many more people, I believe, in my own opinion, have been killed or injured or sent to their early grave indirectly through maybe committing suicide, because that is part of the program for you to actually, they will target you in such a way that you lose the will to live. Then you say, oh, I rather check up, I can't take this anymore. And that means they might say, oh, we didn't cause it. They are the one that have caused you to do that. So what I'm asking you, please, you resist any thought of you, trying to harm yourself, because you only give them the ammunition. That means they have won if you do that. Most of us, although the degree of the torture is different from site to site, from area to area, in my own, I think I'm having the full spectrum. It's not only the head, it's not the eye, it's not the cheek, it's not the body. In the last 2 weeks, in the last 3 days, there's one that according to as I'm moving, there's this thing like bursting in my body, like a sharp electricity burst. I try to ignore it, because what else can I do? I can't say, ooh. So I just try to ignore that. When I move, it bursts in my stomach, and they're also aiming their microwave in my tummy. So if I don't cover my tummy by the time I wake up, because I try to, the way I'm sitting, I can't lie down on my back, on my side. I'm actually sleeping on my chair in my front room. If I go to the bedroom, it's worse. As if this was, I've gone there, I had to bathe 2-3 times a night, to be able to even function. My clothes became moist, I don't know what it is. They were, as if I was suffocating in my bedroom. I think they were using a lot more, I don't know, maybe it was chemical based, because I became short of breath. And again, it was also happening in the bathroom, that now I'll bathe with my bathroom open. That when I shut the bathroom, that's never happened before. All I could see was like a fume coming off, and I start having shortness of breath, until I just bathe there with the bathroom empty, open. I don't care who comes in, so that's what they've done. So I don't sleep in my bedroom. I sit on the chair with my legs stretched. But even that, if there's somebody that can come and take the shielding and go and analyze the holes in the shielding, when you sit down, all you hear is boom, boom. There are big chunks of, the indentation on the shielding. So something from outside is coming into my home, and this is not mental health. This can be seen, this can be tested, this can be verified, and it's not mental health. It's coming from outside. It's environmental, having an impact on me, and this is what they use. So like I said, is to update you about what's going on, and to update you that the targeting is still going on. The last time I saw, almost 2 weeks now, somebody having Muslim clothing, they cover their head and leaving their eyes open in around my area. And by the time I got to my home, on the way to my home, this light was shone from that car into my face. And then I tried to remember the number, I couldn't, but they drove into Devonshire way, and then the road is split. It seems from there they got off. it didn't seem as if it was a woman that was wearing the black cloth or the black um, thing that they wear on that from their head to their toe. It seems it was a man because it looked more athlete, like a man, square shoulder, tall, tall, sitting in the front. But I'm not sure if he's the one that drove or if he was on the passenger seat. So that's what I saw. So I don't know what it means. And that is the second time I'm saying it. Actually, that's the third time because there was a time that they said, apart from my WhatsApp, they sent it into my it was like a BBC news saying that that was last year, saying that the army have taken over jihadist women, the jihad before the combat team. I saw the combat team. So it was sent. And I tried to get it to show my son because as soon as I knew that, I also tried to read in between the lines to see what is this message telling me. So it came on my computer. The other one was on my phone. Showing a jihadist woman's face, these people that cover their faces, the black clothes cover their face. The second time was on my computer saying that the army, and that was around the same time I saw the combat team. I didn't know what that meant, but when I checked it up, combat, I just Google combat team. So it shows that they were from the Air Force communication, whatever, and that picture was taken off that from my phone and replaced with SCS. And I also know a man from SCS was also one of the people that was targeting me, that was following me. He's followed me to my surgery. He's followed me to Stratford when I went shopping there. He's followed me to Lidl, Catford. I've seen him 4 places. And the last time I saw him, well, not the last time, second to the last time, I've seen him at Lucian trying to dress looking smart. And I've also seen him at Bromley Shopping Center that day. He seems to come with his wife, but I don't know what, with a female, but I've seen him. So I know his face, but his face was changed into, I don't know, his hair was different. The one that was sent, they took what I took a picture of him and they replaced it with something. I don't know if it's the same person, but when I saw him last, it was somebody that was aging, so his hair was white. But the one that was replacing my phone was somebody with a brown mousy hair. So that's what I saw. And this is ongoing, and that is what I've seen. So I've seen this repeated woman or somebody with black Muslim wear being sent into my computer, being sent into my phone. And the third time was seeing somebody like that wearing at night time, but maybe after 7 or 8, but it looked very dark. And the light was shone like they would normally do, shine the full silver line beam into my eye to show me that that they're there. So it's not today, they've been doing it for a long time. So that is what I saw, and I thought I'd just update you into what's going on. So if you're experiencing that, if you're able to take any evidence, take any evidence. And any one of you, I think a lot of people are beginning to file court cases. So you need to start getting your evidence together. My evidence that anything that I take on, they try to destroy. I try to get the advocates, NHS advocates for complaints. Something is happening there. I will update you as soon as I get the full picture, because it seems I've contacted solicitors. It will look promising, then later on you don't hear anything from solicitors. So they're trying to maybe scare people away, not to take the case. But if anybody is interested, if you're having evidence that anybody's interested, we need to start filing court cases. We need to start filing joint court cases, because I believe with more than one person, then the picture becomes clearer. So it is not like one person is being targeted and that nobody will believe. And Dr. Hatton, I think she's having a court case on the 12th of December. But she said, according to her on YouTube, she's trying to change that date because that date, is the date coincides with when they are having election day. So I don't know. And poor lady, she had to come all the way from Switzerland to attend the court. And she talked about the last time she came, how she was severely attacked. I live in the attack. I think in terms of British, I think the British probably is one of the worst. So I'm getting, as a minority, you get the worst. So the group of people that are targeting me are the worst of the worst, I think. It's every spectrum. I have electricity live in my body day in and day out. And then there's the brain entriments that I felt there was a time they're trying to give me stroke because they keep attacking at the same spot, at the same spot, at the same spot. So trying to weaken the artery and probably the brain start to bleed. I think that's what they're trying to do in that part of the brain. So what I've been using that is helped a little bit just to take the edge of. I've been putting a big magnet in my head, or I'm supposed to put it somewhere else, but the magnets they've been clanging together. So I've just anything that I can see just to because according to what I read, the magnets from a magnetic field it doesn't stop the attack in my case because my attack is very vicious. It's to the extreme, it's all over body. It's all over body from my head to my toe, all over body, So I try to put that at least to secure that part of the head. They still attack it, but then it's giving me a little bit of relief. So please, I don't know what you guys are using to help. So the same pressure is there on the same part, the same constant pressure on the head, then constant hitting with electromagnetic wave, then constant, then to see as if you have a wound, then somebody taking a pin and just stabbing the wound. So that is what I get, and there's a lot of pressure, and also it is coming on my face. I think my face here, if you see my face here, it's got some rigid. I don't know. I think they've implants here. I'm yet to find out. I think there is something here. Now and again, about 2 weeks ago, I keep having heavy like pimple. I don't have pimple. You don't have pimple here. Something that would just appear 2-3 days, then dissolve itself. So here it looks very heavy. On this part of my, it looks heavy and it still look numb. So I think it's still I don't know if it's the fibrotic whatever that they use. I don't know, but it seems to after 2 days or 3 days it will disappear. It does not bring out. It's not something like pimple that you can kind of pop. It does not pop. It just disintegrates itself. There, and then I also had one here too. Earlier in the year, I had one here, and I had one like something that was an ingrown hair here. So I think I have a lot of implants on my head. This is where the pressure comes in when I'm being attacked, when it spikes on the meter. I will have a lot of pressure here. Then the cold sweat will start from my back, and to just seem something is standing there that I can't, like a magnet that is there. The pressure becomes so much on this part of the brain, then it simmers to all parts of the body. Then you start sweating on your face, start sweating on your nose. So I know that there's probably a lot of something going on, and I've been told when I went to have ECG that I've got frequency. The lady could not do my ECG because she kept moving the sticker around my body. I didn't make her know that I was a nurse. So I just asked her why is she moving it. She said there was frequency on my, so she kept moving it and say where, and I started laughing, and she didn't know why I was laughing. And say where she found where there was less frequency, because she could see it registering on the ECG machine. So you guys, if there's any suggestion of what I can use, especially with the pressure that I use the magnet, but if you're going out, the magnet is too big for me to carry. And there are times that I had been actually putting my hand on my head because the pressure was so much. And there's a lady, according to one of the YouTube said, put pressure, that I had to actually hold my head that way in the shop. People don't understand why I do that. It's just to try to take the pressure off, so there's a lot of attack, and also my eyelid is so heavy, it's so heavy here. It's just because I'm a black person, so you won't be able to see. If I was light skin, I think you could see the redness, but it's heavy here. It's heavy here. They seem to attack that place, too. And the latest one is when I sleep, they seem to target my tummy, my tummy, around my tummy area. Each time I have to put something, pad it up and try to prevent it. If not, by the time I wake up, my tummy will be hotter and warmer than any part of it. Sometimes it's the heat of my tummy, the outer part of my tummy, that wakes me up. That I will know that something is burning me on my tummy, the skin of my tummy. Then I will wake up and then try to cover myself up. So that is what is going on at the moment. Stay positive. A lot of people are beginning to, get lawsuits on them, and I think everybody should do. Everybody that is being targeted, because if not, our voice would not be heard. There's no point, protesting. Even the protest that we did, I didn't see, BBC did not report on it, as if nothing happened. Nobody is fighting our cause. Nobody is brave enough to be the voice for the helpless, and I believe they know what's going on. Like I said on my previous video, it's either they're too scared to do anything because they will be targeted, or they are also people that maybe send their own people to go and watch to see what's going on. So if they're watching, they're also accomplices, maybe laughing and seeing how people are being targeted, trying to hide from their barrage of assaults, and they are laughing there. So they are part of it because they haven't said anything. If that person should die, yeah, their blood is in your hands too, because you were there, you witnessed what was going on, and you never said anything to help. You never said anything. They just like spectator to see what's going on and pretend that it's not happening. But what I noticed with all this big news outlet is that if it's happening in a third world country, then they take it upon themselves to demonize those countries, to make it look as if they are better than those countries, whereas is human suffering, regardless of how you want to look at it. It's human suffering. Either you're being killed slowly or being killed sharply. At the end of it, somebody is suffering, somebody is dying. And if you're there, if you can't do anything, you can't raise a voice, you can't give a helping hand, you're also part of it. Your hands are stained with blood. So what I suggest that everybody that can, we start having to get this into court cases, so that the more the merrier, because it will also show that this is ongoing and a lot of people have been affected, and also for those ones that have lost their life through this torture. And I'm begging, please, I'm begging, I humble myself, I'm begging the UN, I'm begging, please, I'm begging. I put my hands in humility, please. I'm begging the UN, I'm begging the human rights organization to be brave enough, because it's not only about us. If they're targeting us and getting away with it, soon it will be everybody's turn. They will target because they get away with it, and nobody's doing anything because we are too afraid. And apart from that, if they target me, today is my day, tomorrow maybe your day or your children's day. So we have to get up and say something. In my case, I think I've been slandered as a terrorist, or a woman that wanted to harm people, but I've never harmed anybody in my life. I've never, done anything. I've never committed a crime. I've never harmed anybody in my life. I go about my business. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a radicalized Christian. Having said that, please, Muslims that are out there, I'm not having a go at you. It's just that the way it's been portrayed in the media, it's not the religion, it's the people that do the religion, because this is meant to be a Christian country. I'm a Christian. It's meant to be a refuge. Even I'm being targeted in church. And then even in the church, there is no respite in the church. I'm being targeted. So these are Christians, then pointing finger at people, other people's religion, to say, oh, this religion, these people are horrible. Whereas they are also doing the same thing and killing people, sending their own informants to kill people. Actually, I hear what from my research on the internet. I don't know where else I will get information that is people's experience, and some of it are also whistleblowers. There are videos on the internet to check. So anybody saying that you go onto Google or internet, where else will you be able to get information? You get it from, there are whistleblowers that have risked their life to come out to say this is happening, and I applaud them, and I'm so grateful for them, because without them we wouldn't know. You know something is happening, but you know exactly what's happening. So this is what it is. So I'm begging all the human rights organizations, they need to stand up and step up. There's no point talking about all this genocide in third world countries that are being done blatantly for people to see. At least they are done openly, they are done blatantly for people to see. Thousands of people have lost their life innocently. But what's happening in the first world country is that they are also killing the same amount of people, but in a more sinister way that people would not know. And if you know, then you're being confined into a mental institution. So those people that know and want to talk about it, they are being punished. And those people that have been punished, again, if they say something about it, they are being punished. So which is worse? In the third world country, they are doing it. It's in your face. then people are aware that what he's doing, if you can escape, you escape. You don't go there, you move to a different place. But if you can't escape, it's bad luck. But in this country, what is happening? Even if you run away, then they will send assassin to the probably the next country to come and fish you, or then they go on the satellite. So there is no escape. So which is worse. So, but then the news outlets are very quick to point out, oh, these people are demonized, they are subhuman. But what is happening here is as well, probably worse, because it's not underreported and it's done under the radar, it's done quietly. So more people are probably killed in this country than people will imagine, and I'm begging all the human rights organizations, please, please stand up and be counted. Stand up and say something. Stand up and do something to help the innocent. There's nobody to fight for us. And most of the target people are the homeless, are the single parents, are people that are being disenfranchised, people that can't speak up for themselves, people that haven't got the power to fight back. I haven't got the power to fight back. I just thought, well, if I'm going to die, then I can as well scream. I'm not going to die, shut up. But when I know I haven't done anything, I have not offended. I've come to this country in my 20s. I've not committed any crime. I was so grateful. Even I'm still grateful to come in here, because Britain was ruled Nigeria. And I thought, okay, they're coming there and I have a right to be here too. There was a time I used to come to this country without even a visa. Then suddenly I'm being seen as somebody that wants to antagonize this country. For what reason? For what reason? This is a witch hunt. I was on the other day, checking, listening to this program that was doing something about the secret of America, talking about the where people were being, hanged, set on fire because somebody pointed a finger and said they were witches. And this was happening in 1692 or something like that. And something similar is happening. Somebody pointing finger, and then suddenly you're being put on a slow kill list to be killed. And that's it. No evidence, nothing. Nobody has spoken to you to ask you, God forbid, why did you want to do that? Or what was it that you're trying to do? Nobody asking. Then if you're lucky, well, if you're not lucky, they actually add a psychologist to say declare you unstable, declare you mad, to start, pumping medication. So it is as bad as being hung. They're hanging, they will suffer, and then 15, 20 minutes, they're dead. They can't feel anything, but this one is ongoing until your body disintegrates right in front of you, and you have no power. You have no power to fight back. So this is happening. I'm begging you. This is my hand. I humble myself. I'm begging you guys to do something about it, to stand up, because today is my day. Today is targeted individuals day. Surely it will come to you or your children if nobody gets up to fight this evil war, this silent holocaust that is happening. And I'm begging also the psychiatric Royal College of Psychiatrists. They need to start vetting their psychiatrists, because some of them, it's not all, some of them are using their position as a weapon. Some of them are using their position. Fairly, in my case, and a lot of targeted people have also experienced this. People are not listening to their complaints and then using whatever they said without checking. How would you sit on your desk? How would you sit in your home and say this person is not targeted, that is just delusional? How do you know it's delusional when you have not checked, when you have not researched, when you have not educated yourself to find out what's really going on? That it may not be delusional, it may actually be what's going on. Even in my case, I took the picture. If you take evidence, if the MFI were not involved, if I went to the police, I said somebody is stalking me, and I give them a picture, a description, surely they will document it. Surely they want to investigate. In this case, they are not investigating because they are the ones part of the problem. They are part of the problem. So if a psychiatrist is telling you you've got delusional or you've got psychosis because you are being gangster, how do you know it's got psychosis when you have not checked the environmental factor? How do you know? So that is why I still find it difficult how these people go to bed and sleep, knowing that they have lied, knowing that they have actually tried to destroy another human being's life when they haven't done anything offense to anybody, just because they're trying to cover up for a crime that is being committed. So I'm begging United Nations, I'm begging all the human rights solicitors to stand up. You need to show yourself. I'm begging. Please, a lot of people are suffering. A lot of people are dying in silence. A lot of people are being maltreated. A lot, my targeting. When I became aware of the physical side of it, psychological side of it started 2015. The physical side of it, I'm sure they started long back, because by December, my blood was deranged. I know when I used to go to work in central London, they used to send a van, and I know one of the van was a security van. Two of them actually were a security van. Some of the vans were packed up in my home here, black vans. They used to pack up, and some of them were people, vans that will pack up at my workplace. So there was one that was always packing up permanently in my workplace. So I don't know, maybe they were already directing energy weapon into my office where I was sitting. By December, January this year, my blood has all gone funny. And then my occupational health doctor was telling me, even when I had the MRI scan, he was saying he didn't see the need why my doctor should be investigating to even do a scan to see the pressure. There was changes in my head, but then they related to the age. How would the age be the one that is putting pressure on my head? So if the age is putting pressure in my head, then that means there's something wrong there that they should have investigated, but that wasn't investigated. Having said that, I must be right here. They have given me opportunity to have a review, but I refused, in the sense that they're not going to tell me what is really going on. They're going to lie. I actually went as far as getting an independent, neurologist. What I was told shook me to my bone, and I thought, okay, if I'm gonna pay you, I don't want to see any doctor, because the trust now is gone. You have to find somebody that is sympathetic, somebody that is not tainted, that wants to really help you to find out. This person, I'm not going to mention name, was happy to treat me for electromagnetic frequency, which was going to cost me hundreds of pounds, without wanting to investigate, to do more tests to find out exactly what's going on. And that's where I said no. And this person was actually telling me that, oh, I'd rather treat you first before trying to do. How can you treat someone without doing further investigation to find out exactly what you're treating? So that is still something that I'm trying to, I find very sad that it is happening in medicine. I really find it very, very sad, because I went into nursing to help, to be a servant, to see what I can do to make a difference. And I hope, in many years, I hope I was allowed to work more, that I've worked, I've been able to make a difference to my patient's condition and life. But I'm so shocked that this person was actually brought in somebody that was going to treat me for the electromagnetic frequency, but then don't want to do a further investigation to find out what is wrong with me. We'll say, oh, trust me, we're going to do that first, do the treatment, then we find out. And I find that very, very baffling. I find that very shocking. So my trust in doctors are at the lowest point. I've never been this way before, because I believe in human, that when you're given an opportunity to serve, that you're serving the people you want to serve, you want to make a difference in somebody's life. But I didn't know that, what was going on is something that has been planned, is something, what I was told when I said, can I have EEG done? I was told that we are not going to find anything, are we? We are not going to find anything. So this person was already predetermining the result of my EEG, without having to say, let's have it done, let's see what we can find out, and we treat. No, it wasn't said that way. We are not going to see anything, are we? We are not going to see anything. That was what I was told. And it just shook me to my core. How would you know you're not going to find anything, or you're predetermining the result that you're not going to find anything? Whereas the pressure is still there. It's something that you can't get away with it. It's there, and it is where the antenna, I believe, is, or the lots of implants, I believe it is, that they're using targeting me. So when it's like that, who do you go to if you can't trust those of them in the NHS, and you can't trust those ones who are actually paying to find out what's wrong with you? All I wanted to know was anything causing the frequency in my body. I've still not found it out. And each way I want to go, they have infiltrated, they have stopped, because they're trying to stop. They know what they have done. They know it's illegal. So they're trying to stop me finding out. So I need the UN to step up. I'm sure a lot of people have written to UN, a lot of people have written to all these human rights organizations. And why do we have the law of human rights when when you guys are not able to stand up and defend it? You have to defend it. Well, we said never again. That's what we said when Germany were killing innocent people, killing the Jewish people, killing innocent people because they were having the hump and the rest of because they could and they have the ammunition and trying to take on the whole world. And we said never again. And never again for people to be used for experiments without their consent. I did not consent for my body to be used by military for their military experimentation and slowly kill me and leave my family and children alone on their own. I haven't consented. So they're using my body. So in the pretext of a Muslim, I'm not a Muslim. I am not a Muslim. I am not a radicalized Christian. Having said that, it's not all Muslims. There are some nice Muslim people out there that are just living their own simple life. I'm not a radicalized Christian. I cannot be going to church, being a radicalized Christian, and having communion and going to church and preaching to other people. I cannot. And it's not going to happen in this world and in the next. So where they have gone in, because they have lied, so they think they see themselves so that they believe to have to create a scenario and lie to cover a lie. So it's not only me. I have been deemed as a radicalized Christian that was ready to kill people, but I don't know based on what evidence. I don't know. They have checked my home when I'm not here. They have got into the bin and checked my bin. They have gone into the work. It's just that it's just I'm still in shock to find out this country can lower its standard into this level of into this level of I don't know. I don't want to call it names. What I have in my mind is not good. My opinion of this country has been shattered, and it's not a good feeling because I thought they stand up for. I know some elements stand up for human rights. I've been in this country. I've not had a major problem. Why would I want to hate anybody? Yeah, I've got a few calling names. So in my country, people call people names. In the tribes, they're not all united. People divide on nepotism, on tribal thing, and they're not united. So why would I have a hint? Why would I have problems because of that? I know my color, the skin of my color, maybe offend other people, but I didn't make my skin color. If God didn't want me to be here or this skin color to be here, He wouldn't have made it. We didn't make ourselves, we just find ourselves here. So I'm begging you, and I'm begging human rights organization. You need to get up and organize yourself. You need to give a voice to the voiceless. You need to give strength to the strengthless. Now I can't fight this war. Somebody needs to fight on my behalf. I can't get a solicitor. I've done everything in my power to try to raise this awareness. Yeah, solicitor is difficult. I don't understand some of the solicitors. I think they go to scare them off so that they don't take on the case. But I think United we stand. You can't be scared of it. United Nations is a big organization that can also take on these people. They've got evidence. They are surely got evidence of this thing going on. If they can go in third world country and confront the government, so can they. Nobody should be above the law. So I'm begging you. I'm asking you guys to stand up. Let everybody be counted, even journalists. You need to stand up now because at the end of it, today is my day, tomorrow might be your day because maybe eventually you decide to stand up. And again, if you've been seeing a lot, then you know a lot. And if you're not standing up, that means you're part of it. And those blood that you've been shed, that you have seen, will be in your conscience, will be in your hand, that you have participated because you stood by and did nothing. So I'm begging, please, I'm begging. I humble myself before you guys. I'm begging the human rights to stand up. I'm begging, please. A lot of people are involved. I've never offended anybody in my estate where I live. I've never offended my neighbors until this time. All neighbors sending at Christmas. I will send my children with all the cards and they will go, especially on Christmas days, because I'm always doing my things at lastminute.com. And we all they would have sent probably theirs maybe a week or two before. I'm always doing my thing last.com because of the nature of my work. And I will send my children sometime on Christmas Day to start sending cards, and those ones that I'm close to, a small present. I'm not taking myself as holy, Christmas spirit. I haven't I don't have enemies. I have not done anything to anybody. Then suddenly, all my neighbors are, most of them, not all of them, are into targeting me, sending electrical frequency into my home that can be measured. I know the psychiatrist thinks that, oh, it's a sign of mental health. He needs to define that when the meter becomes a sign of illness, because, I mean, they do, as psychiatrists, they don't measure anything, so they will understand that you have to validate. Is using the meter to validate. You cannot see electricity, but in your computer is in the light. So how can I measure the light? How can I take my hand and measure? You have to measure using instruments. So the point is talking. I don't know which university or where he educated himself. So I'm still baffled by these arguments. So I'm begging everybody there that can stand up. The whistleblowers have done their own. Some of them, their life has been threatened. Some of them understand they've lost their life because they are spoken of. A lot of people, but the whole population needs to know what's going on. Some people don't believe it, but the more people begin to talk, the news carry, then people become aware. Just like when it's happening in third world country, just like when the Philippine man was killing, people that I thought were drug addicts, and innocent people were killed. Instead of rehabilitating people, giving people job, trying to change people from, trying to talk to people, educating people, and moving them on, giving them something else to do. Instead, he's sending the army to kill. The country was into it. It was an evil person killing all these people. But then people are also being killed indirectly in this country. Sending electromagnetic wave, packing vans with electromagnetic wave radiation into their body, and killing them within weeks or making them mad. So it's equally, it's the same thing. It might not be, in your face, but at the end of it, somebody is being killed directly or indirectly. Or sometimes I understand they will stage murder. That is my understanding from research, from what I've checked on the internet, that they actually have a death squad that they will send their informant to go and teach them how to go and kill people. So what is what? It's the same thing, taking another human being's life you have not created because you can, and because you feel you can get away with it. Nobody will know. So it's worse. So I'm begging United Nations, please. I'm begging all the human rights organizations, please. They need to look into this crime. It's happening right here, right now. And it's happening in the Western world. It's not only in Britain. It's happening in Europe, most of the European countries there, because it's a program that has been rolled up, started in America and rolled away. So they've sold this program, they sold this agenda to people. And now we are watching China to see if China is going to roll heavily on the dissidents. At least China, they also have their own version of what is going on here. So there is nowhere that is safe. The United Nations, what they will do in third world country, I let these people make a noise, make sound, they need to start doing it here too, because nobody should be above the law. What is fair, what can be done in Africa can also be done here. So please, I'm begging you, please, I'm begging you, please, I'm begging you. I thank you all for listening to me, please. I don't want to be looking pathetic, and it's just that that's the way I feel today. And also, there's a man that calls himself Chief Handler. He got through into the last time I did my video, saying to me, making a comments that my children don't love me enough to put me in a nursing home. Mr. I don't know if you're a man or a woman. I don't know on what note. I did not invite you to make a comment. And if you're going to make a comment, fair enough. It's a free world, free speech. You can make your comments. What I will say to you, if you're a young man or old man, life is a journey. And it's a journey. It's not a straight line. It's a journey full of curves and corners. When you're in this corner, you don't know what's at the next corner. If you're earning money through human suffering, through human tears, you're earning money, you were boasting how much you earn over maybe $100,000 or whatever, through targeting or through putting radiation on people's body and watch them die. There is a thing. I'm an African by all means. It says, today, today, you don't know tomorrow what's at the corner. You just don't know what's around the corner. God has a way of making people pay back. It's not going to probably be by death, but he will confront you, and he will confront you, and he will reveal himself to you, and he will reveal himself to you in such a way that when you look back at your life, you feel disgusted. And what I also wanted to say, Nobody knows tomorrow. You don't know what's around the corner. If you're an occultic person, you think you know. You just know the here and now. Tomorrow, you don't know. You think you know. Sometimes your brain, your body will fool you. You think you know. If you don't stop, you see, God made Pharaoh. Pharaoh with all his chariots, Pharaoh with all his pride. When the children of Israel were being enslaved, when they wanted to set them free, when God said it's time to move forward, to move away from slavery, to go to the promised land, Pharaoh would not allow them. Pharaoh, because he thought he was big, he was mighty, he's got a lot of chariots to kill them off, to show that he was strong. But God was waiting for him. And what God did is the sea that it perished with all his chariots, with all his kingsmen. I'm not asking, I don't want your blood in my hand. I'm asking God to change you, to show you mercy, to change your heart, to reveal himself to you, to understand that those people you're targeting, those people you're calling mad, those people, you're not out of the wood yet. You're in this world with us. You're in this world. You just don't know what's around the corner. That money, if I was you, if you've earned money, I think you need to probably go and maybe give it back to the homeless people, because that money is, you're being paid for somebody's suffering. So somebody pain, every pain that people are, you know, being maltreated, being hit, being irradiated, being burned, you're earning money. You're earning money and you're watching them suffer until they die. And I understand when they die, or either by killing themselves or dying from cancer, you guys go to have a beer or two and then make a pet name that, that person is gone. Your own life does not belong to you. Mm. And the higher they are, the greater they fall. Your own life does not belong to you, it belongs to God. You didn't give yourself life. You didn't know when you were born, when you were in your mother's womb, you didn't know yourself. It's God that made you there. And I'm sure it didn't make you to be a killer. You made yourself, because it's life choices. You choose money. You choose money over human empathy. So you want to earn a lot of dollars to show off that you earn, and then everybody else is crazy. I'm crazy. Everybody should be in a mental home. The other people are crazy. It's not only me you've insulted on the internet. When I check out a lot of people you have contacted, they didn't contact you, contact them and start insulting them. Be careful what you're wishing for, because when you're pointing one finger at one person, the rest finger, pointing one finger, the four fingers is pointing at yourself. It will come to you the day you don't expect it, unless you change. The day you did not expect it, the day you least expect it, is when God shows up. And that when he shows up, what excuse are you going to give? You have no excuse. So if you don't like my video, I'm not inviting you to come to my video, and I am not mad. It's not madness. I don't wish what is happening to me, even on you. I don't wish it on myself. I don't wish it, because there was no need for it. There is no need for it. This is not about fighting terrorism. This is about control. This is about infliction of pain. This is about money. You earn money by torturing somebody else and laughing. Like I did in my other video, gang stalking to some people is a game. It's a game of control. It's a game of power. 70% of people that are being gang stalked are women, because they will not fight back. Most men, some of them may fight back, most may not fight back, but 70%, so 30% of men are the ones that are targeted, and 70% are women, because they don't fight back. They just moan, they talk, they cry, they go to sleep, start again, and waiting for the time for them to be killed. So if you're earning money through suffering, I think you need to go and give the money maybe to charity and change your ways, because you just don't know what's around the corner. The next time might just be you. And it might not come in the form you expect. It might not come in the way you hope. And your ending might not be the way you expected it. I don't know what age you are. If you're older, you just don't know. If you've got children, you just don't know what's going to happen, because the Bible says up to third and fourth generation, the Lord will punish them unless they change their ways. So if I was you, I'll make a repentance for, because you have caused a lot of people grief. They're already suffering. You're adding salt into the wound and smirking and making them trying to, I don't know if you think you're trying to be cool or I don't know what you think you're trying to do. But when my grandchild saw your comment, I was laughing because I just thought, oh my God, finally we got somebody. And you were saying my children don't love me enough to put me in a nursing home. If you're a young person, if you live up to my age, you'll be thanking God with your ways, what you're doing. If you're an older person, my dear, you need to be looking behind, because God is a just God. And the crying of those people, some of them are not all, even on the internet, just the crying that maybe they sit down there, the tears start rolling up in their eyes and saying, when is this going to stop? There is no light at the end of the tunnel. And you're earning the easy money to feed yourself, to feed your children, if you've got children, to go on holiday, and you're forgetting that you're going on somebody's tears, you're going on somebody's pain, you're going on somebody's suffering. You just don't know what's around the corner. But I will ask God to help you to change your ways. Ask God to intervene in your life. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what made you choose this lifestyle that you're boasting about it. I don't know if the occult people have given you assurance, but you need to understand, even the person that established this occult is no more here. It's no more in this world. So if they have that power, if they are that great, they may seem they have that power, they're great. They are not that great. They are not that, because when the day comes, the Lord, they go to bed if they are lucky and take their last breath. Some of them will also have the same, being knocked down or something, being ill, and just die in a nasty way. So if you're part of them thinking that you have this power to do and undo, you haven't got the power. It's just an illusion in your head, what you're being told, and you have to obey the master. So that means you yourself, you're not a free man. You're earning the money, but you're not free man. If you put your leg in a wrong step, maybe putting it left instead of a right, you become the target. You become targeted. So what I will say to you, reframe. These people are already suffering. This thing is things that make you suffer. So don't add salt to already wound. So if you've earned your money, if you want to go sit down there and enjoy your money, if that's what you've chosen to do, you go and, but stop adding insult to the injury. I was not insulted. I didn't feel insulted. I was just laughing, and I felt sorry for you, because I feel you're a lost soul. If you're somebody that enjoys suffering, that telling people they are mad, that telling people they need to lose their children because of what you and your gang are doing to people. So I feel sorry for you, because I do feel sorry for you, and I'm asking God in His infinite mercy to intervene in your life, whatever you're going through, whatever that made you come to that conclusion. The Lord should challenge it and open your eyes to what you are doing, and to what you're saying, and to what your effort, your comments are doing, because it's adding salt to the injury that a lot of targeted individuals are already experiencing. That's what I'm asking God to do. But if you don't change, the thunder of God will also find you out, because He's a God of justice. And say one day your sins will find you out. But I'm asking God to give you the opportunity to open your eyes, to open your mind, to open your spirit. Like He met Saul on the way to Damascus, He should change you and use you as an instrument to help, to be empathetic, to help us find a solution, how we can overcome this demon that is within us, this hatred, this overlost hatred, this greed for money and fame and control. For us to, this is the only world we know, for us to overcome it and live in harmony. That's all I'm asking God for you. I don't know who you are, I don't know what you're going through at this moment, but I'm asking God to intervene in your life and make you a changed person and use you for an instrument. But if you're resisting, then the Lord should meet you like He met Pharaoh. Should meet you in the Red Sea. That's my prayer for you. And you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know what tomorrow brings for you. You just don't know. So I ask God to help you, to change you, to enter your heart and break every barrier, anything that is standing on the way of changing you. But if you harden your heart to God, then He should meet you the Red Sea. That's what I asked the Lord to do. So thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry, keep apologizing for the quality of this video. I still don't know if anybody's got suggestion. I don't have anybody to help me. I bought this to make it the logo. Bought this to help me, but it's not working. I think it's been crashed or corrupted, so it's not working at all. So every effort to try to make my video, very alive, and it's not working. So I just have to, but I still have to document what is happening. I'm still being heavily targeted from my head to my toe. I'm seeing people turning up here in Muslim clothes. I don't have friends that are Muslim. I'm not saying Muslim people are all Muslim people are bad. It's not the religion. Some elements are not, are terrorists. Some elements are probably nice people that just happen to be Muslims. I don't have. I've never had problems with people. I just mind my business. They mind their business. I mind my business. I'm not a radicalized Christian. I cannot be a daughter of a pastor, of a priest, then I become a radicalized. I haven't given anybody the power that God gave me as a human being. I cannot leave it for somebody to chat nonsense to me. I don't give people that opportunity. I've got my own brain. I've got my own understanding God gave me. I have never involved in torturing people or doing anything horrible to people. I'm a nurse by career. I have, as God gave me the ability, the help, I've always tried to strive to do my best to see that I can do what I can to make sure my patients, restore their health. Any day that I'm going to work, I'm always asking God to make me the best I can. I humble myself. Yes, at the end of it, I'm a human being. If you say something, if I don't agree with you, I'll say I don't agree. But I have to tell you, shut up, or so in some instances, I'm not saying here that I'm holy. I have used the F word if I thought, I'm being used. I don't use it first, but if you use it on me, I'm not gonna stand there and cry. I'll say it back to you just to let you know that I'm also a human being that has feeling. But I have not indulged in trying to make commit, committing to try to make somebody suffer, through my beliefs or whatever. So where the MI5, the combat team, they've got that information, I don't know. Why they are trying to set it up, I don't know. But I know when people tell lies, they try to use lies to cover lies because they have slander. Is their own ways that they've done. They have slander. There are people that they've called pedophile. There are people that they've called child molester. There are people that they've called rapists when those people are innocent people. So this is what that they've been using so that they can get you tell that to the government that we are fighting crime. This person we have X, we need money, and that's how they are using it to get. Then those people they turn those people and use them for army research. I'm not a fighter. I didn't ask people to go and fight. So if you're going to fight, you can't use my body as your research. I don't give you permission to use my body as a research. I'm not into war. I'm into peace. So I don't know why I'm being attacked with electromagnetic wave. And I know around me I've been surrounded both front and back. I know some of my neighbors are also involved. It's not only some, not all. Some of my neighbors are heavily involved. And I know that they are also they have people that collect the data through AI system. They can see when I'm being attacked. They can see where the pain comes from. Then they record it. Then they reattack it, and they can see. There are some of them that will sit throughout the night recording the AI system, seeing when they attack, and the attack is 24/7. There is no stopping. It hasn't stopped since last year. It's ongoing for 24/7. There are some that feel like water. There are some that sting. There are some that burn. There are some that feel like somebody has just darted you with injection, especially on my hip, and sometimes it's bled. And also on my face, I know I probably have implants because there's frequency coming out of my head and my face, and it's all done. And when I try to seek help, they try to stop. They try. My phone is being hacked. My computer is hacked. The other day, actually, somebody was um, on my computer interface at E14. That is Tower Hamlets, E14. I will see at the background there saying location E14. And then the day I saw it, then it quickly went away. Then it um, starts saying, East London, Tower Hamlets. So somebody around here, somebody in Tower Hamlet has attach themselves into my computer. So I don't know what they are putting out there in their own interface, streaming there for people thinking that I'm a dangerous person. I've not been dangerous when I was a young person. young person I've got, they don't have fear of anything. And it's this that I'm middle-aged woman, then I become attached. Then when I'm saying I'm being attacked, then somebody say, "Oh no, you've got mental health problem." And the psychiatrist needs to understand that a lot of people have got used to it now. That the name they are giving the nice psychiatrist is not good. That the name that people are beginning to see psychiatrists as fake. People are beginning to see psychiatrists as people that they can't trust. And when you can't trust somebody, you can't go and put yourself in their hands. So people are beginning to see that they are being using their position as a physician, and they shouldn't be called physician because it's not evidence based. It's based on their opinion, what they think, and some of the theories that they are based their work on is being regarded as false and fake because people really haven't taken time to challenge the research, some of them bubble jumps they were doing. And it's not only today, before, the Germans were using people the same way, using children, you know, separating families and using them for research. And some of them got hanged for it. But so it has continued. So psychiatrists have not really done a lot of good for themselves or the society. So they have used their profession to weaponize it and then section people and false treat people for sickness that they don't have, the sickness of the mind. And where is the mind? Where is the mind? And then when people say this is happening, then they will say it's not happening because they feel it's not happening. In my own case, they said, "Oh, why should I say my neighbors? Have you lived in my neighbors? If I hadn't measured the frequency from my neighbors, I wouldn't have known. So have you lived with me? Have you seen the frequency? Have you seen the frequency coming up from next door neighbor into my home? Have you seen the laser? Have you checked my hip to see the number of laser attack I've had that my hip was bleeding? If you can't see, then who are you to sit in your office, in your home, and say it's not happening when you have not investigated? So that means you're basing it on opinion that is false and that is fraud, and using your position, including the woman psychiatrists that are forced. As a woman, you are using your position, saying you're a healthcare professional, to cause pain, to cause suffering, and to cause a lot of false diagnosis just because you can. I don't know how you guys can live. And you, the occupational health, you don't know what you're doing, to be honest with you. You have taken on this false, you might say, oh, that's what you were told, but you told me that even if I went private, you will not accept it. It has to be from NHS. And I find that I'm still shocked by your expression because people can leave this country and go to another country and have treatment. People have been paid from this country to go to another country and have treatment. And I work with NHS, I know that. So for you to sit in your office when you have no knowledge, maybe you have now, maybe you know what is going on, and then proclaim that even if I went private, that you will not accept it has to come, and that you were trying to force me and pressurize me into have mental health treatment that I don't have, and you were speculating that I will need a long-term mental health. Who are you? How do you know what I'm saying is false? Have you investigated? Have you done your holistic assessment? It's not only organic assessment, it's looking at the patient, both physical, psychological, and environmental. And you haven't done that as a physicist. And I think those of all of you should actually hang your head in shame because I'm also a healthcare professional. You're using your position to use as a weapon to hide crime that is being committed. You haven't got the balls, those men, to stand up and say, I can't do this because you're afraid. You're chickening out, and you're accepting. And because I'm a black person, I'm not being followed. How do you know I'm not being followed? How do you know? And all those times that my blood has come up deranged, and you, the occupational health, you were saying that you didn't see the need while my GP was doing my MRI scan. How would I have known that part of my brain was being, because of the radiation, and the attack was changing. And that's how I know, although it was said, oh, it's age related, it can be age related when I'm having constant irradiation on that part of my brain that is changing. Is to probably cause stroke or to cause brain cancer. We all know that that's what their aim is. So to make it believe as if it's happened naturally, whereas I'm being attacked physically, I'm being attacked, environmental attack. And how can you explain all these heavy metal in my body? How can you explain, or why my CRP went so high and my ESR went so high and all my blood were deranged, trying to point out to environmental problem? How can you explain? How can you explain the EMF frequency in my body? How can you explain? It just didn't move in there. Somebody put it in there. I think all of you should hide yourself in fear. You call yourself doctors. I am so ashamed as a healthcare professional that put you in trust, put patient in trust of your care for the level of care that you people have given to me. I am so ashamed. I'm still in shock that you guys are using your position as physicians to do what you're doing. How can you explain? Is it mental health that is causing all this electromagnetic frequency in my body? Is it mental health? I never knew mental health can cause psychosis, can cause electro frequency in your body, that it will register on ECG. I don't know. And the doctor that was prepared to treat me for EMF, but not prepared to find out what is in my body that is causing it. Again, it just leaves you to wonder. The healthcare professionals that are meant to help are using their position as a weapon of abuse and torture and hide the crimes that is being committed. So I don't know if it's happening to any one of you out there. I'm not targeting individual, but every area is different. But my one is the full spectrum of abuse that I'm having, full spectrum. And when I'm trying to seek help, they're trying to stop me. They're trying to, because they think I'm trying to win. It's not about winning. It's about finding the truth. It's finding the truth, why I became a target and why am I being targeted? What is the evidence? That's what I'm trying to find. Any normal human being want to find that. Why am I being targeted and what is the evidence? Why are they using Muslim women or Muslim jihadi cover head every time? That is the third time. This one was on my WhatsApp, came into my WhatsApp. The second was on my computer. And the third one was just almost 2 weeks ago that somebody presented itself in my area, packed in front of the terrace. And then as soon as they shone their car into my face and sped up with somebody blacking off face, that black clothes they wear with their eyes popping out there at night, evening, late evening, around 7:30 to 8, when I was just coming back from shopping. So is that part of madness? And that spend, and you doctors, I think like I said, the psychiatric Royal College of Psychiatry, they need to step up. They need to differentiate and acknowledge when patients come in reporting that they're being ganged up, they need to be taken seriously. So it's not to cover, because this is a cover and letting crime. The crime is so much now that is coming out. So when it come out, you would have lost the reputation of your occupation, because a lot of people now are complaining of psychiatrists being part of the gang stalking, is part of this torture. A lot of people are complaining. A lot of people are complaining. Like I said yesterday, was it yesterday in BBC, the morning program, they were doing people that were fraudulently claiming money in terms of insurance. They highlighted this money. It wasn't in this country, it was in America. It made over more than maybe 1 point something million from misdiagnosing of people, false diagnosing of people. It was even diagnosing children, because when you do it and you get away with it for so long, the line of normality blurs. You don't know when to draw the line. You're motivated by the money, how much money you can get, how much more you can get. And the more you're getting, the more you're doing it. So his own downfall was, the more he was getting, the more by the time people start to report him, he has got a lot of money, he was not satisfied. The control he had over people. The power was so much for him to stop, and he continued. Now he's in jail. He's in America. He has been fraudulently, fakely diagnosing people with mental health, or diagnosing people with mental health problem, and medicating them, mental medicating people that didn't have mental health problem, medicating them. So he was getting a lot of money because he was getting away with it. But the day of reckoning, God's reckoning, came, and he's now in jail, 7 or 12 years sentence in jail. And I hope that by the time he came, they should strip him of that money and pay compensation to those people that is misdiagnosed. And this is the same thing. So they are using false diagnosis, using psychiatrists that have been corrupted to faster this program. The program needs to be stopped. This is inhuman. These people that are doing this program will not want that to be directed to them, will not want that to be directed at their family, and they're directing it at other people because the law kind of turn a blind eye. There is no accountability. There is no accountability. There is no how many people are being regulated, how many people are being treated with this, so that people start to see a pattern emerging that how come in so time they were these people, or how come did they just spike up to this amount? So there's no accountability, and people are weaponizing this to say everybody there is a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist. I can never be a terrorist in this world and in this. I can never. The word of God has saturated in me that I'm not a Muslim. I'm not disputing Muslim. I wasn't born into a Muslim family. I don't have any problem with Muslim. They're doing their own thing. I'm doing my own. I live among Muslim. We don't shit with them. I'm not saying they are horrible people. There are some of them that who condone crime, but I don't. So I don't know where this is coming from. My father was a pastor. I have worked in that integrity. I have never, ever in my life go and do knowingly do something to hurt people. I went into nursing to help, to make a difference, and that's what. And they've taken that away from me. But I have left that. I know that God sees my heart. That I have tried to do my best for my patients, and now they're trying to take my life. They're trying to kill me because they can, not because of what I've done. They have no shred of evidence under this God's Son to say that I'm a dangerous person. Now they were using fixated thread. Now they're trying to use the same occupation, the healthcare occupation, to try to lock me up or shut me or kill me up there because I'm complaining. I am complaining because of what is being done to me. I am complaining, and I feel if I don't complain, nobody can complain. Nobody is speaking up for me. Nobody speaks a voice for me. I have to be my own voice. The same way I've been charged to be a voice to my patient, to advocate for my patient. But I'm the patient now. Nobody's able to advocate for me, so I have to learn to advocate for myself, and that's what I'm speaking of. So I'm asking you to stay positive. Please, if you have any ideas of how I can get this pressure off my head, please do tell me. I use a bit of a magnet, but they clang together, and it's very cumbersome when you're going out because I wear wig. I can't put it under my wig. I've tried all sorts what to do. It's helped me a little bit because as of 2 weeks ago, I thought they were going to give me brain hemorrhage because they were just pounding on one side of the brain. Then they will move my brain. There is physical distortion in my head. When I put my hand around there, I can see swelling on my head, and I can see something. It does not look right. So please, if you have any idea of how I can shield properly, please let me know. And I'm begging the UN, I'm begging all the human rights organizations. I'm sure they've heard about this. A lot of patients have written. I'm sure they've known about this. A lot of patients have complained. They need to step up. They need to stand up, because if not, we are all at risk. Few people controlling the masses. We are all at risk, and anybody could be killed, could be injured. I understand that they have death squad that they send to go and kill people. So if this is happening in Britain, then how much more third world country? And then we are sit here and tell third world country that they are inhumane, that they are subhuman beings, that they are not intelligent enough, that they don't care. But it is also happening here. And the problem that is happening here is that nobody reports it. Nobody wants to talk about it because I don't know if they're too embarrassed, or just because the people that are probably meant to be talking about it are also part of the team that have gone to see what's going on and not able to report it. or maybe they themselves are also involved in it in a lesser way. I don't know. So, because if you can't stand to see somebody being maltreated, even dogs, you can't stand to see somebody stoning a dog or putting, and the dog is shouting and somebody keep doing it, you will say something. You will try to intervene. You will try to call somebody to come and take the dog away. The person cannot keep the dog. Or how much more a human being are made in the same image like God, just like you. Everything you aspire to be, I want to be the same thing. Your want is not different from my want. I'm not looking for me. I just want to be left alone to live my life the way God. And if you're attacking me, the promise of God, what God asked me, sent me to do, you're trying to stop that process, and God will judge you for that. Thank you. I'm so sorry for ratting away. Please, thank you. Stay positive. Lift up your eyes. There's nothing that goes that start without end. I'm hoping and praying that God will bring this to a speedy end and we'll all be free. In Jesus' holy name, I pray. Amen.